Hello everyone, welcome to the Ichimoku.co daily futures market review for the trading day ending Wednesday, June 10th. Firstly to the Euro US dollar, and here we see a continuation of the trend to the upside today, a candle making a high high and a higher low. A nice extension to the size of the white body, suggesting that the buyers have increased the amount of net momentum that they had previously, and a good answer to some moderate trading over the last couple of days, although white body trading, but we see the large shadow on the candle prior to today's trading. For today's trading, we've seen the buyers close with control. Not a strong amount of control, though they haven't closed up towards the high, but still it is control, and it's very much different than the sellers having control from the previous day's trading. The problem here for the buyers obviously is the resistance around the bottom of the cloud, the Tenkan-sen, and this 1185 region, and we've seen the market unable to close above the 1185 area. Importantly, however, we have closed above the Tenkan-sen indicator, which is just below that 1185 region, and we have closed to within the cloud, and there is a possibility of a transition away from a downtrending phase in the longer term time frame that the market was in to an uptrending phase if the buyers are strong enough to breach through the top of the Ichimoku cloud. Now, there's no guarantee that they will do that, and even if they do, we'd have to see the market breakout up above the Kijun-sen, which is just above the top of the cloud, and then above the round number 1200, and we'd like to see that done in a strong bullish manner if we are going to see a significant and sustained uptrend in the longer term time frame. But at the moment we have a transition from a downtrending market in the longer term time frame to a neutral market. Next to NYMEX oil, and here once again we see the market trading within this highlighted zone, and if you recall previously we were watching this zone very carefully, and it extends up to the 62.56 region, and at the beginning of this sideways move in the market, that was the extent of the move, and that's an area that where we could see some resistance coming in. We've also already seen some price rejection on this candle, a larger shadow on the top of this small white body, and it suggests that the buyers have lost commitment up at these higher levels, up around the highs, and also the small white body compared to the larger white body of the previous day suggests that the buyers are losing some momentum. The buyers have also failed to close with control on this candle, and it suggests that there is a possibility of a change of trend to the downside, and that would be in line with the past 5 or so occasions, or 6 actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 occasions that the market has traded either to or within this zone. So looking for a lower high and a lower low. Now we could see some support coming in at $60.68. So that is an area that we should be watching carefully, but if that area is breached to the downside, potential support around the Kijun-sen and Tenkan-sen around 59, and then down at the previous support area around 58.32. We do have a bullish market in all 3 time frames, but the market has been hovering above and below the Tenkan-sen indicator, oscillating above and below, suggesting that we have a lack of clear direction in that shorter term time frame and in the medium term time frame, with the market beginning to oscillate above and below the Kijun-sen indicator as well. So the opportunity is here for the buyers if they're strong enough, and a significant bullish close up above the top of this yellow zone could see this greater time frame uptrend in the longer term time frame continue back up on its way, and for the market to test up to around the $66 level. Next to wheat futures, and here today we're seeing strong selling coming into the market, and that follows a breach up above the 526 region. It was a previous region of strong resistance in the recent past. And if we look at each time that the market has breached up above there, we've seen these spinning top type candles come into play, and that's exactly what we saw for yesterday's trading, and it's little wonder that we've then seen the sellers come into this market again, closing with control. Technically no change of trend yet, and this is a bearish engulfing pattern, and the importance of this candle is, with it being so large, it's actually engulfed the previous 2 white bodies, and it suggests that there's been such strong downside momentum from and the sellers here, that and the breakout down below 516.50 with the sellers strongly committed and in control, I suggest that we're likely to see the market testing down to around the Tenkan-sen and Kijun-sen and the top of the Ichimoku cloud, which is down very close to that $500 level. But we certainly could see some very strong support coming in down around this region. Next to corn futures, and here we've seen a change of trend today in the first time frame, and that follows the indecisive spinning top or doji type candle from the previous day's trading. The market was in an uptrend. We saw strong price rejection from the previous strong support level at 367.25 on that candle. The indecisiveness suggested that the strong buying that we saw previously had ended, and now confirmation of the change of trend with the market making a lower high and a lower low. That was also a bearish harami pattern and confirmation today. The sellers have taken control, and very strong selling in this market, with the market breaching down below the Kijun-sen and the Tenkan-sen and the 359 level, and it suggests a very good possibility of the market testing back down to lower levels, and a possibility of trading down to 347.75 if we see some strong follow through. Just one thing to watch here is that the last couple of times that we've tested down to around this 355.89, 356 level, we have seen some buying coming in. But if we look at the character of these candles after they break out down below 359, those candles, other than this candle here, failed to close in a bearish manner down below there, and the only other time that we breached down below there was on a bearish candle, and that's what we've seen today. So there's a good likelihood that we are going to see some strong follow through and a potential test down to 347.75. Next to the US 30-year bond futures, and continuation of the trend to the downside again today. This follows strong selling from the prior day's trading, but a market that found some support at 148.23, a previous important area, but the sellers have come in and breached that area very strongly today. Sellers in control, bearish market in all three time frames, and a very real possibility of the market at least testing down to the 147 level of support. Strong momentum highlighted by the Chica span, so very bearish market in all three time frames. Next to the S&P 500 futures on the hourly charts, and a very significant change of trend for today's trading in the longer term time frame, and this suggests that we're likely to see some very solid upside trading for the S&P over the next few days. If we look for the past 3 or 4 days, we saw a bearish breakout down below the cloud, the second pivot point level holding a support, rallying to the top of the cloud, and then strongly selling off for the market to trade down below the cloud for quite some time. During today's trading, we saw the market trade to within the cloud, break out up above, and then some strong follow through confirming the strong bullishness, testing almost to the third pivot point resistance level. Testing to that level suggests that we've had something of an extreme day. Normally after we see some extreme days, it's not likely that we see a terribly strong day after this. We could see the market come off a little bit, or certainly not be as dynamic as the day prior. So a possibility of the market testing to perhaps the first pivot point resistance level at 21.16, or to the second level at 21.26, but I doubt that we're going to reach up to the third level, which is significantly higher. At the moment, we've opened well up above the middle pivot point level, finding some support around the Tenkan-sen indicator, which trades around 21.05. If we see the market come off, looking to strong support at the middle pivot point level around the 20.98 region, and very strong support around the Kijun-sen at 20.94 if we do see any selling coming in, but a good possibility of the buyers continuing in this market to test up to the first pivot point resistance level 21.15.